Hey guys, it's Zisho. In this video, I'll be doing a review of the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. I'll be going through the following categories. Number 1, display. Number 2, battery. Number 3, the size. 4, usability. 5, the design. And finally, I'll do a summary based on what I think of both of these phones. Starting with the iPhone 6, I've got this one in white and gold. So it's white at the front with the gold ring around the Touch ID and gold at the back with white antenna bands. Now, starting with the display on this device, we've got a 4.7 inch display which measures diagonally 4.7 inch. The resolution is 1334 by 750 and that comes in at 326 ppi. Now the PPI is exactly the same as the iPhone 5s, it just measures over a bigger display. So it's the iPhone 5s had a resolution of 1134 by 640, which also had 326 pixels per inch. So the display looks pretty much exactly the same as the iPhone 5s, whereas this is just over a bigger display. To be honest, it looks very nice for its size and its resolution compared to the Android devices which are full HD. So there's no complaints in the display category and the viewing angles are really good. Now moving on to the battery category. The iPhone 6 doesn't have a massive battery compared to the iPhone 5s. The iPhone 5s had a battery capacity of 1440 milliamp hours. The iPhone 6 on the other hand has 1810 milliamp hour battery. Now, general usage of this phone has given me around, it's given me an all-day use, but at the end of the day, it's been 27%. The iPhone 5s, on the other hand, I had to recharge that every single night. It used to run down to about 15 to 12%. So yeah, it's definitely better on battery life, but it's not as good as it could have been. Now moving on to the size of the device. As I said, it's 4.7 inch, and it feels really nice in the hand. It's not massive, but it's a really decent size. So media looks good on it. Obviously, YouTube videos, pictures that you take on the device, videos that you take on the device, especially with the slow-mo feature that they've got on the 6. They look really, really good. Like I said, the resolution doesn't actually affect how good the device is. So I think it's really, really up to the user as to what they want the device to do. If you want it so that it looks really, really good, and if you want a display that looks amazing, then wait for later on in the video and you'll see the iPhone 6 Plus in action. This one looks pretty good. For what it is, I think it looks really good. It's just a standard 8 megapixel camera, but yeah, it takes really good shots and they look amazing on the display as well. So there you go. Right. Moving on to usability. Now, people are worried about getting the iPhone 6 Plus or the iPhone 6 because of how big it actually is. Now, if I compare this to a 5S, which I'll just bring into the shot right here. There isn't much difference between the two devices. Obviously, the iPhone 5S is a smaller device, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that the iPhone 6 isn't massive in comparison. Again, I'm holding this phone in one hand and I can reach pretty much everything on either side. Apple's reachability feature, when you double tap that and it brings down half the display, actually is really useful. It helps a lot when doing day-to-day tasks. Obviously, you don't need to do that on the iPhone 5s. You can literally reach everything with one hand. Even the camera, I'm using my left hand to reach the right side of the screen and it's easy. But again, that's personal preference. If you want an older device but it's easier to use, then this is a no-brainer. But I'll get onto that later on in the video. Back to the iPhone 6. Putting this up to your ear and taking a day-to-day phone call, you will not look ridiculous. This actually goes really well. It looks okay sitting next to your ear. It doesn't actually stick out like a sore thumb like other devices do. You know, mentioning no names, iPhone 6 Plus. But yeah, this one actually looks really good. It's a decent size, It's not ideal because, again, I can't reach all the way to the messaging app, but Apple have compensated for that in the use of reachability. So yeah, I think it's a really good size and it's very usable. Finally, moving on to the design of the phone, I think, now this is all personal preference, don't start hating and disliking the video. I personally think that the gold, in particular on this phone, doesn't look great. I mean, it's a nice looking phone, don't get me wrong, it's a very nice looking phone. But firstly, as mentioned in my unboxing of the gold iPhone, which is linked down below, I don't really like the white antenna bands which run along the top and the bottom of the device. Neither do I like the shade of gold that they've chosen. The iPhone 5S gold was more of a champagne colour. This is more like a pinky slash yellowy gold, which I'm not really a fan of. The front of the device looks nice. I mean, obviously this is the part that you're going to see the most. You're going to see the white front with the gold ring around the Touch ID, which looks really nice. But again, you're buying the phone as a whole, so if it was my choice, if it was my personal choice, I wouldn't be going for the gold. It'd have to be either the black or the silver for me. And when comparing the iPhone 6 to the iPhone 5S, I still have to say that the 5S wins in design. It's a bit thicker, but I still think it looks very nice. If you think about it, if you look at the 5S, let's just take the 5S and have a look at this. It's got a metal middle part of the back, then we've got plastic top and bottom. These plastic parts are where the antenna signals go through. The white strips on the iPhone 6 are where the antenna signals go through. I think this device looks much better. I love the way the chamfered edges go around the device, and I love the way the back looks with the black and the grey. It looks really, really nice, even in white, gold and silver. Very, very nice looking device. Right, now moving on to the iPhone 6 Plus. Now I've got this device in space grey, so it's grey at the back with dark grey antenna bands, and it's all black on the front. You literally can't even make out the screen because it's all black and it looks really, really nice. Right, so let's get on to the first part of the review for the iPhone 6 Plus, the display. So this phone has a resolution of 1920 by 1080 over a 5.5 inch display. Now, I've seen some reviews for this phone, and the majority of them say that the iPhone 6 Plus looks no different to the iPhone 6's display. Now, you're probably not going to be able to make out in this video, but they look pretty damn similar. They are quite vibrant, they're very colourful, and they look really, really good. You wouldn't be able to tell which device had a lower resolution. Obviously you can tell screen wise as to how big the iPhone 6 Plus is, but yeah, you can't tell the difference between the screens. However, I'm here to say that the iPhone 6 Plus definitely looks better compared to the iPhone 6. You can tell the full HD screen. You can tell that it's got a full HD resolution compared to the iPhone 6. I can't show you on camera. Even if I did, you wouldn't be able to tell how good it is. Now, I've shown pretty much everyone this video and it looks amazing. This is the Avengers movie in full HD 1080p. Now, I've downloaded this from iTunes onto my iPhone 6 Plus and it looks pretty darn good. If I forward it a bit, and you can see, if that focuses, you can see just how good the quality is. It's very, very good. Now, I'm not being biased, but I'm sure you guys can tell that that looks very, very good, especially for a phone. So yeah, let's just come out of that. iPhone 6 Plus display, hands down one of the best displays on a phone so far. The viewing angles are great, and the colours are vibrant, the brightness is great. In particular, the comparison between this and the 6, if I had to choose one, I'd go for the 6. Now on to the next part of the review, the battery life. The battery on the iPhone 6 Plus is 2,910 milliamp hours. Now this was rumored for a long time to have a bigger battery than the iPhone 6, and now we can actually confirm that it does definitely have a bigger battery. In fact, it's almost double the battery of the iPhone 5S. The battery life on this phone is astounding. It lasts me literally a day and a half to 2 days. I found myself charging my iPhone 5S literally, like I said in the review earlier, literally every single evening I have to charge this phone. Now, this isn't the phone's fault, obviously it's just how you use the phone, but this phone with general day-to-day use, you know, making phone calls, WhatsApp, messaging, taking a few pictures here and there, would last me 2 days. I mean, now you can see it's on 91%, and I charged it in the afternoon when I was at work, and then took it off charge around, say, 1:30, 2 o'clock, and it's still on 91%. And look at the time, it's 8:05 UK time. So it's, yeah, it's very good. If you're looking for a phone with great battery life, then this is the iPhone to get. Right, now let's get on to the size of the device. This is probably the biggest deciding factor for any iPhone 6 purchaser out there today. They are worried about the size of the device. Now, obviously you can tell how big the phone is in my hands. It's really big. If I can't even reach to the clock, and that's just on the third row on the iPhone 6 Plus. Obviously, like I said before, reachability makes everything a lot easier. You can reach most of the places in the phone, but it's not practical if you want to use the phone one-handed. I tend to find myself using both of my hands to use the device. Now, again, that's your own choice. If you want to use, if you want your phone to be massive and you want to do a lot of media consumption, then yeah, it's great for yourself. But if you're the type of person to just have a phone that fits in one hand and you can do everything with one hand, then you might want to consider the iPhone 6. iPhone 6 and 6 Plus have curved edges, so it's easier when it sits in your hand. It's easier for you to hold it in your hand. I found a few other phones digging down into my palm, whereas the iPhone 6, it fits quite nicely in your hand and it doesn't feel uncomfortable. So, I mean, I know this is the size aspect of the device, but that is exactly what determines if it's comfortable to use or not. So yeah, overall, big phone, but a very, very nice phone to use as well. Moving on, usability of the device. Again, this sort of goes down to the size of the device as well. They all sort of link together, don't they? So the device is very, very usable. Don't be put off on the size of the device and people making comparisons between the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus and, oh my god, look how big it is. Yes, it's a big phone. Everyone knows it's a big phone, but that's your decision to make. If you want a big phone, you go for it. Trust me, don't let anyone put you off. I bought this phone blind. These two phones, I pre-ordered them both off apple.com/UK the minute pre-orders went up. I bought them blind. I didn't know what they were gonna feel like, how they were gonna be in my hand. I didn't know. I bought them. Why? Because I thought, you know what? I'm gonna see what I like. And now that I've had both of them, I prefer the iPhone 6 Plus. Yes, it's massive. Yes, it looks really big when you put it next to your ear. And yes, it's hard to use one-handed. But why not? I've been waiting for an iPhone 6 this size, well, not iPhone 6, I've been waiting for an iPhone this size for years now. I didn't want to move to Android, and Apple have finally released a phone the size that I wanted it to be, so I'm going to go for it. With the usability comes the landscape view of the home screens. Now, I've never found myself using the phone in this way. I mean, it's basically you're looking through your apps, aren't you, when you're on the home screen? So why would you need to go that way? I don't see the point. I mean, fair enough, if you're holding it this way anyway, then yeah, it's great because you don't need to move the device back into portrait mode to just to go into your home screen. So it is good in a sense, but I find myself rarely using this this view. So if I go to a new message, yeah, you can see the keyboard has extended buttons, and there's more space to work with. So yeah, it is good, but yeah, it's very usable. I'll be a bit big. You can't reach everywhere, but I like the size, and it's up to you to be able to decide if you want a phone this big, or if you want a phone as small as the iPhone 5S, which you can do everything pretty much one-handed. So yeah, that's your choice to make. Usability wise, so I think now onto the final part of the review, the design and color choice of the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. The iPhone 6 Plus looks bloody amazing in black. Again, my personal choice, but that's totally up to you as to what you prefer. But if you look at the device right now sat on my desk, you can see it's all one, it looks like it's one piece of glass sitting there under a black frame with a silver edge around it. It looks so nice. I really like how it looks. That's not the iPhone 6 Plus per se, it's the iPhone 6 in general. It genuinely does look nice in the black colour. The iPhone 6 does look good in white as well, but again, personal preference, I don't like how you can see the outline of the screen and then the white around it. I know you can't have a screen white, but I just think the 6 Plus in black looks really nice. And same goes for the back. If I turn it around and you see the back, it doesn't look as bad as the white one does, with gold and white antenna lines. So yeah, a really nice design and really nice color choice for the black space grey model. The design, again, like I said in my iPhone 6, I'm not fond of the design with the antenna bands going along the top and bottom of the device. I'm really not a big fan of it, but it's still decent. I have a iPhone, an genuine Apple leather case, which I put the phone in. It looks quite nice. It's got a microfiber lining inside. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, but yeah, you can see it just about there. So it's really soft inside, and you can see the embossed Apple logo there with the leather back as well. It's a different leather to the iPhone 5S case. Let's get this here. This is the iPhone 5S case here. You can see the difference in the leather. This is more, it's more grainy, and this is a sort of softer leather. But yeah, it's quite nice. I like the iPhone 6 leather case. Goes really well with the device. Obviously, you can choose your color, but I think usability wise, and going back into the review now, I think if you have a leather case on your iPhone, I think any case, it would make it a lot less slippery. I haven't mentioned this in the review, but the iPhone 6 can be slippery without a case. If you were to get a case on there, for example this leather one, it still looks nice and it has access to all the ports at the bottom, and B, it's less slippery, so it won't slip out of your hand, and you'll have less chance of it dropping. So yeah, that's my review of the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. I'm not going to go into the software because you obviously all know about iOS 8 and how it all works. I'm not going to go into the camera and how it performs, because there's been loads of reviews out there just showing how good the actual camera is. And yeah, it's overall, I think the iPhone 6 Plus is a very good device. Now I'm going to get into the summary of all three phones, which is the 5S, 6 and 6 Plus, and let you know my thoughts on them. To summarize this review, I'm going to talk about the 5S, the 6 and the 6 Plus, and let you know what I think you should go for. Right, now to start off with the 5S, this is still a very capable phone. It's got Apple's A7 chip, which is still very quick, and it's very nice, especially if you have small hands. It's a perfect size. As Apple said when they first announced this iPhone 5S and the iPhone 5, 4 inches on the display is perfect. They haven't widened the phone, it's just longer from the 4S and the 4. So yeah, I think this is the perfect size. It's still got a very clear screen. Now these screens are Retina, whereas the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are Retina HD displays. It's got a fabulous camera with the True Tone LED flash on there, and yeah, it's got iOS 8, which works just as smooth as it does on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. So I genuinely think that this is a very capable phone, and I don't think you should dismiss it just yet. Fair enough, 6 and 6 Plus are brand new devices, but this is still a very, very nice looking phone, and it still works just as it should. So yeah, if you're on a tight budget and you've got relatively small hands, or if you're just looking for a phone that's for one-handed use, then I would go for the 5S. Moving on to the iPhone 6, it's not the perfect size for a phone. I still think the iPhone 5 and 5S is the perfect size, especially for one-handed use. It's a decent size. It fits nicely in the hand. Again, you don't have to stretch your thumb very, very far to reach the other side of the phone, depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed. But it's still a very, very good phone. I think it's obviously in between all these three phones that are here today, size-wise, and yeah, it's got Apple's latest A8 processor in there, which is quicker than the iPhone 5S, albeit not very quick, but it's still quicker than the iPhone 5S. It's the latest phone. Battery life isn't the best, but it's still improved over the iPhone 5S. Display is crisp and very clear. It's got the same pixels per inch as the iPhone 5S here, so it looks the same, it's just over a bigger display. My preference, if I had to choose between these three phones, now again personal choice, would be to get the iPhone 6 in space grey and 64 gig. Reason being is because it's the perfect size phone. Well, not perfect size, it's a decent size phone. It fits nicely in the hand, and it's got all the features that you need. I mean, I would love the resolution of the iPhone 6 Plus, and I would love the optical image stabilization of the iPhone 6 Plus. But for day-to-day use and for one-handed use, the iPhone 6 hands down is a winner for me. Now finally moving on to the iPhone 6 Plus. This phone is a beast. It is massive, and I friggin' love how big it is. I know I said that I would go for the iPhone 6 if I had a choice, but if you're someone who consumes a lot of content, i.e. media, videos, YouTube, movies, TV shows, if you're that kind of person and you've always wanted a bigger phone with a massive display and a fantastic resolution, then I don't see why you shouldn't go for the iPhone 6 Plus. It's got everything you need on there. The battery life is amazing. Like I said, it lasts me almost 2 days. On a good day, it lasts me maybe just over 2 days. So yeah, like I said, for content, it's good because you can watch videos on your big display, and you can watch a lot of videos because you've got a bigger battery life. It's got 80 hours. You can listen to 80 hours worth of music. On the iPhone 5S, you can only listen to 40 hours. That shows that it's literally double the battery life of the iPhone 5S. The other reason why I would go for this phone is the camera, which is the same camera lens and module as the 5S and the 6, but it's got optical image stabilization, which means that the camera will literally move forwards and backwards, up and down, left and right, to stabilize the image that you're taking on the phone. Now this doesn't sound like it probably doesn't sound like it's a great idea, but in theory, when you put it to use, it works fabulously. It works on videos and photos, and it makes the photos look crisp. Videos look stunning when they're so still. I'm not sure if you've seen that video that Apple have taken with the iPhone 6 Plus. Someone is riding a bike, and they're filming someone riding a bike with them, and it's so stable it looks like they're walking alongside them. It's really, really good. It's really clever. The other feature that sold it for me when Apple did their keynote was the iPhone 6 Plus being in landscape mode, but I rarely find myself using this. It's a feature that you can post about to your friends that, oh yeah, I've got landscape mode in my iPhone, and you know, have you got that, blah 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 blah. But I don't see anyone really using it. Maybe you use it. If you do, comment down below and say, how do you use it, what do you use it for, when do you use it? So yeah, overall, I would get this phone if I was a person who commutes a lot, or a person who has always wanted a bigger screen but never wanted to move to Android. Yeah, and if you take a lot of photos and videos, the camera in this is great. this optical image stabilization works really well. So yeah, I would go for this phone if you're one of those people. But to sum up, if it was my choice and I had to go for a phone out of these three today, I would be choosing the iPhone 6. And that concludes my video. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you comment, like and subscribe to my channel. I'd be interested to know as to what color you prefer, what model you prefer, and what phone have you got? Do you want to move to the iPhone 6? Are you coming from Android? Are you coming from an iPhone 5, 4? What are you coming from? I'd like to know. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.